Your rivalry with Conor was one of the best in the MMA. So much bad blood. When you look back on it, do you think that you two elevated each other?
100%.
Are y'all good now?
Uh, I think he's cool, but fuck him. I'm planning on going back to UFC.
You do?
If they'll have me, I would like to go back and fucking whoop someone's ass there.
Well, who would you want to if it was offered? Justin Gaethje, it sounds like.
I'm not fighting at 55 though, but right now I'm not fighting in there because there's nobody to fight really. It's kind of slow rolling.
I feel like UFC would.
I don't really have a name in mind right now in the UFC. That's why I'm not there right now. Otherwise,
but the name, the draw, the excitement that you'd bring to it, I feel like it's really lacking in UFC. Everybody's
that's
rushing, everybody's
like, I would
wrestling.
be there if there was somebody that I wanted to go fight. But
I want to see the rubber match with Conor McGregor.
with time for sure. Yeah, whenever he's back, me and him for sure got unfinished. Got to happen.
Well, they're talking about doing that BMF thing again.
BMF.
Would you?
Hey, you started it.
Yeah,
you started the BMF. I didn't want somebody to ask
The
me.
most entertaining thing in the UFC, right?
100%.
Yes.
And then all these guys rocking the belt and hunting it and trying to get in it. When it happened, they were like, "What's that?" They're all criticizing it, and I'm like, "Well, look at you now. It's the most entertaining shit there is." That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that belt's more coveted now than any of the other ones.
Bro, somebody asked me about that the other day.
I hope you know you're wearing my belt.
So would that be something that would entertain you? Like that? Why not?
Yeah, those are the guys right there who I would want to fight. You know, I like Max Holloway, but besides that, I would like to fight the other guy's really good too. Tapoya. That's named Tapoya.
Yeah.
So he's really good, but he's smaller than me. So
Yeah.
So if you're on the second floor of the UFC, it is not just to deliver to your fan base. It's to expose these new fans and to make them fans and do as close as you can to get them to hardcore as you can. And what you can't do is to expose them to something that you can't show them again. I don't know if you're going to get Conor McGregor to make another walk. I don't know. Gun to head type scenario, no. You're never going to see Conor again. But even if you can get Conor to do another walk, you're not going to get him to make another two. And that's one thing that you've got with an interest with John.
What you just witnessed wasn't a normal interview. It was a time capsule, one of MMA's most volatile rivalries. A feud soaked in history, ego, violence, and unfinished business. When asked about his war with Conor McGregor, the answer came without hesitation. Asterisk, 100%. We elevated each other. Asterisk, and that's the truth. Their clashes didn't just headline events. They reshaped the entire UFC landscape. Two styles, two personalities, one explosion every time they shared oxygen. But are they cool now? Yeah, he's cool, but expletive him. Respect mixed with venom. The exact formula that made this rivalry legendary. And here's where it gets interesting. The door back to fighting isn't closed. Not even close. There's still a hunger to return, but not just for anyone. Big fights only. Real threats. Names that matter. Fighters who bring chaos, danger, and spectacle. Someone like Justin Gaethje, pure violence personified. Or perhaps a clash with a fan-favorite savage Max Holloway. A matchup dripping with action potential. But the real unfinished chapter? The trilogy with McGregor. Me and him, we've got unfinished business. It has to happen. Because rivalries like that don't fade. They simmer. They haunt.
White House. And the
They
problem
wait
with
for the
that
perfect stage
is
to
if that's
explode.
what you're clear about, I'm not going back to the White House. So how am I going to get you to Johnson City? How am I going to get you to Miami? How am I going to get you to Fort Dodge? I can do this big thing for you and put you in the White House and bring all these new eyeballs and really expose you and you're a really rare talent. But if I can't, I'm going to then leave the White House. I need you to come over here, right? Where the semi-trucks are pulling the octagon and the tent's getting set up and the beer's getting poured and the popcorn's getting popped. Those are the guys that I'm going to expose to this new audience.
You saw it, McGregor.
The way that it goes, it's brand new fans. Tom Brady, who, by the way, has turned out to be this total stud. I mean, I really am enjoying Tom Brady on a different level, but he just sat down. He was doing an interview. He did one really interesting one with Daniel Cormier. He goes right over and does with Jake Paul. And he says, Jake, we've all had a past. I won 7 Super Bowls. Who gives a... And then he uses the curse word. He said, can you bring it today? That's all people care about. Now, I really respected that Tom said this. I mean, first off, what's more true than that? Tom Brady come out and said it doesn't matter. He got 7 Super Bowls and said, nobody cares. The way this sport works is right now and the future. And the future is more important than the right now. But you do have those 2 dimensions. You don't have yesterday. And it's the reason every time you go to a press conference, the most annoying question that Dana White gets asked is what's next? And the reason it's annoying is because Dana's got to give the same answer every time. We'll see what happens. I don't make fights right now, but it's all anybody cares about. These 2 guys, they put their lives, they did, these training camps, and they found each other out there and they put their heart and soul into it. It's already gone. What's the difference in promoters? I heard Reed Harris explain this to me one time, that it was the difference with Dana White, and Reed was a fellow promoter. And he said, this is the difference with Dana. Dana puts on significant fights, and that's the word that Reed used, and he never used another word, and he really didn't add anything more to it. I had to then break that piece of poetry down over the years. And it's true. Dana will not put anything on television that does not have a potential to lead to something else. He is not looking for on the next tour, wherever that tour takes us. The show must go on. So from my perspective, it makes it very unlikely that you're going to see Conor, you're going to see John Jones. Now, John is not this huge draw. Conor is. So there is times where you've got to blend these 2 worlds together, right? There is times where you're going to use Conor to bring in all of these eyeballs. And even if he specifically isn't going to take you down the road, that attention can then all the air out of the room. He was such a big star. You're not going to go to a press conference and another guy is going to emerge unless you put Chael Sonnen on that stage. You're just not. Conor's going to take every question. He's going to take every interest. He's going to take everything out of it, and nobody else is going to show up to play. So there would be no reason. And it's very difficult to believe that anybody is going to be on the card that's going to have the most eyeballs that is not going to be able to bring you a return. And a return is monetized in one way, which is a performance. Nobody's getting brought to the White House to retire. And I'm not confident in telling you that John Jones
again. And speaking of stages, imagine the energy under the chandeliers of the White House. Not just a fight promotion, a cultural moment, a collision between sports, politics, and pure spectacle. The kind of attention that only superstars can generate. That's why the BMF title, the baddest mother of her belt, still looms large. Once mocked, now coveted. Once seen as gimmicky, now arguably more exciting than traditional gold. I hope you know you're wearing my belt. That statement alone carries history, ownership, pride. But beyond belts and rivalries lies a deeper truth about combat sports. Star power is fleeting. Promoters like Dana White aren't chasing closure. They're chasing momentum. Every fight must lead to another story, another payday, another surge in new fans. Because yesterday doesn't sell. Today does. Tomorrow sells even more. Even legends feel that pressure. Look at icons from other arenas. Tom Brady said it bluntly. Nobody cares what you did before. Can you deliver now? That same brutal standard applies inside the cage. Meanwhile, personalities like John Jones represent a different kind of intrigue, dominance mixed with uncertainty. Will we see them again? Once? Twice? Ever? No one knows. And that unpredictability fuels the entire machine. The chaos, the press conferences, the mind games, that's where battles begin long before fists fly. Masters of psychological warfare like Nate Diaz don't just fight bodies. They attack egos, composure, identity. One well-timed jab of microphone can echo louder than any punch in the octagon. Even crossover figures like Jake Paul stepping into combat sports prove the same rule. Attention is currency, and whoever controls the narrative controls a moment. So what did that explosive exchange really reveal? Pressure, championship-level pressure, that never switches off. Cameras amplify it. Crowds magnify it. Expectations weaponize it. Because the real fight isn't always inside the cage. Sometimes it's on a stage. Sometimes it's in a headline. Sometimes it's inside your own head. When provoked publicly, do you erupt or do you weaponize calm? When history weighs on you, do you crumble or sharpen? When the world watches, do you perform or survive? That's the true measure of a champion. Not just how hard you hit, but how unbreakable you remain before the first punch is thrown. Whether you're stepping into an arena, a boardroom, or just another brutal day of life, the lesson is the same. Composure is power, focus is armor, and legacy is built